Hello, and welcome to the channel. And for today's video is a sort of special, celebration, you could say. So this will be the 50th video that I upload to the channel. The channel started earlier this year in the summer, so it's only a few months old. So I was thinking of what to do for the special occasion, and I just thought maybe of doing a sort of a state of the channel address sort of thing, and also just preview some stuff that'll be coming down the line at some point. So that's why we have these figures here. But first, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been checking out the channel lately. I've seen some growth as of late, slowly but steadily. Excuse me. So right now the channel is at over 30 subscribers. It's got about 33, I think, 32 or 33. So thank you to each and every one of you guys, and gals. I don't know if there are any female subscribers, but thank you. Also, I just want to thank everyone that's been checking out my videos as of late. I've also seen a jump in some of them, and just a brief recap. The video that I uploaded a few weeks ago for the custom that I did on the McFarlane Detective Comics 1000 Batman, both of them, the black and gray version has proven to be the most popular one, and overall the most popular on my channel. That video is currently at over 700 views, which is awesome, taking into consideration that most of my videos get around an average of anywhere between 5 to 30 views. It just depends on what product it is that I'm showcasing. But yeah, that video has certainly taken off. For the longest time, the video with the most views and the most popular one was the very first video I uploaded on the channel, which was the custom I did for the Michael Keaton style Batman. The very first one where I used the SH Figure Arts cowl with one of the multiverse bodies. That one, for the longest time, was the top video with over 200 views. But the McFarlane one just overshot it in like less than a couple of weeks, and has been growing steadily ever since. It's getting even more views, these past few weeks, this past few days, yeah. It's almost growing it's getting like 100 views per week, so that's cool. And the other one, the blue and gray version, the one that I modeled after like a year 2 Batman, has also gotten a lot of views. It's gonna reach 300 pretty soon. So yeah, and that's cool. And other older videos are starting to get noticed as well. I'm starting to see numbers on those grow as well. So again, thank you each and every one of you that's been tuning in. And please, I encourage everyone to comment. Let me know what you guys want to see. And even though you may not like it, thumbs up, thumbs down, and everything is anything to help me know what you guys are enjoying about this channel. Please let me know so I can know what sort of content you guys would like to see more of. For instance, just before we move on to these guys, the only demo video that I have uploaded right now was the demo video that I have of me painting a Transformer, a small, one of those MicroMasters. That was just more of a test thing to see if I was able to paint while on camera. Mostly being behind the camera myself and painting with the figure in front of the camera. It's a different way of doing it for sure, because I'm used to having the holding the figure in my hand and having it really close to my face. So that was more of a test to see if I was able to do it, and for the most part I can, but I'm also found myself going off camera a lot, which is the reason why that video was sped up and cut the way that it was, because I find myself going off camera for long periods of time. So it is what it is. It's a growing learning experience. So I still have to figure out the proper camera angles to record myself doing more demos for you guys. So there's that. So these figures here in front of you are gonna be some of the projects that I'm looking to work on in the future. So we may be seeing these videos on these figures, in the coming months. Still have lots to work out on them, but like I said, this video is more of like, just giving you guys a how my thought process regarding, how I go about my customs here. So this, I'm gonna move out this Iron Man Hulkbuster type figure out of the way, and because it has its an interesting story in and itself. So I'm gonna put this out to the side. All of these 4 McFarlane figures I recently purchased, and off of some guy, a local guy here, off of the Facebook Marketplace. And as you can see, I've already done some alterations to them just to test some things out and see how they may or may not look, if they may or may they look good or not. Let's start with the Wonder Woman here. So let me just put the focus here on her. So as you can see, this figure, I believe, is from the Last Night on Earth version. I got them without the boxes, so I'm not entirely don't really remember the versions of each one. So this one, I already removed her cape, right? The main customization I want to do on her is regards to her mohawk. My attempt here is I'm going to remove the mohawk and try and give her traditional hair. I don't know if I end up sculpting something myself, or I'll find some figures for fodder in the future and just remove some hair and try and stick it on there. But I really enjoyed that face sculpt that they gave her, and I think that this deserves some proper old school style Wonder Woman hair. My thought when doing if I'm going to do it myself, as far as sculpt something out of epoxy or putty or whatever, I want to try and give her like interchangeable hair, like normal hair that's resting, and then another hair where it's flowing in the air, or different, what like most people do with wired capes, give her certain poses. Well, I want to try and do the same with regards, the same idea for hair, right? I still need to cover up this gap here. That's from the that was left from the cape here on her, because this was glued. This part was glued to the front of her, so I need to cover that up and remove this stump here from the cape as well. That's where it connected there on the back. And then as you can see, I gave her a lasso. This is just something I bought off of a craft store here. It's just regular rope. It's a gold rope. I did buy some wire as well, some bendable wire. This is actually wire that you can buy for your picture frames, you know, for hanging on the walls at on your home. So this is bendable wire, but this was actually in excuse me. This is it was, you know, silver colored or gray color or whatever, but I spray painted it gold. But as you can see, the color is fading the more that you handle it. So I need to buy a different color gold paint to give her a bendable lasso. There, I couldn't find any in gold, so I have to settle for what I could find, right? So this is I also thought about maybe changing up the size of her gauntlets, but I think I'm fine with that. I was also thinking of maybe painting her midriff, you know, again, just to give her a more traditional Wonder Woman look, but I'm just gonna keep it like that, since her whatever it's called, her bodice or bustier or whatever it's called, you know, has some sort of texture on it. If I just painted the exposed skin parts red, it wouldn't look, you know, seamless, right? So I'm just gonna keep it like that and see what I'm gonna do for her hair. So that's that for this. That's what I'm looking for this custom. And then moving on to this Batman. This is the death metal Batman, right? Yeah, the one that came with this one was not the one that came with the bike. This is just the one that came with the guitar. Early on, when I wanted this figure, when it first released, I actually wanted this figure not so much because I liked it. I wanted it because I wanted to experiment for the head sculpt. The head sculpt in itself I like a lot because it reminded me of and it was originally what inspired me to try and do a modification on that blue and gray variant of the McFarlane Detective 1000 Batman, because instead of going for a year 2 inspiration on that figure, my idea was if I could get this figure for the head sculpt, I was going to attempt to recreate a Batman 500 cover version, that cover from the 90s, you know, the issue where that's the issue where Azrael put on his new suit and everything, but the cover in itself was like a double cover, and the cover was drawn by Joe Quesada. And this head sculpt reminds me a lot of that version of Batman drawn by Quesada. So that was going to be the inspiration for that custom. But I ended up doing something else with that. And now that I have this figure, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. Probably just going to keep it as is. Again, I did remove the cape on this guy. And you can see I need to plug up some holes from from where the cape was being held on to. So again, some epoxy to cover that up. And I'm probably going to do what I'm going to do with this guy and the guys in the back as well. I'm gonna start and try to do wired capes. So for this guy, I do have his trench coat thing that came with him right here. The idea that I want to do though for this guy is I'm going to trim off most of the trench coat part, and I'm just gonna keep the upper part almost like shoulder pads. So I'm gonna cut it off at these points right here, right? and remove the rest of the trench coat and cut it off here at the front at about this point here, right? So from this and upwards, right? So to have these parts resting on top like shoulder pads, and then add the cloth cape. Now, I'm not going to do a trench coat. I'm going to do like a traditional cape that wraps from the front, but also include the wires. So I may recycle some of these belt things here. I don't know. And of course, maybe paint up all of the detail that's not picked out in color on the figure itself. You know, paint the spikes and the boots here as well. So that's the plan for this guy. For the, I don't know which version this is, the Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, I don't know exactly which one. This guy, of course, his head sculpt and their head, and the head sculpt for the Flashpoint, Thomas Wayne, I just swapped them out. Because when again, originally, well, I'll speak when I have that head sculpt. But originally I wanted the head sculpt from this figure, not for that, but for something else. But when I saw this figure all armored up and everything, it reminded me a little of the Kingdom Come version of Batman. You know, the older Batman that needs armor just to walk, right? So with the head sculpt here from the Thomas Wayne Batman, it kind of almost looks like, you know, you could say that this could be a version of a Kingdom Come, you know, Batman, a future Batman, an older Bruce Wayne. So it's the thing about this guy though, his neck is really wide, as you can see when I show this guy here better. His neck is really wide, so in order to hide it well, it almost looks, I don't know if it looks frumpy or not, but you know, I think the camera doesn't look too bad. But anyway, again, the idea on this guy is a wired cape. On this guy, what I'm thinking, and as well for the Flashpoint. So wired capes need anchor points. You can't just add wire to the long ends of a cape and start posing it, because otherwise the weight from the wire is gonna weigh it down. You may get some, you are still able to pose it, but you're not gonna get a lot of dynamic posing from the cape if it's not anchored to a point, which is what happened to the Mafix, the Hush Batman. A lot of people, including myself, the wire that came off, or you know, came undone, dislocated, or whatever you want to call it, from its anchor point near the shoulder blades. So on one side, the cape would just, you know, flap down. So it needs an anchor point so that the wire stays there, and then you are able to do whatever crazy posing you want to do for the cape. So on this guy, again, need to fill up some gaps that were made from the cape, from the plastic cape. Gotta fill this in the back. And then the idea that I'm having is I'm going to have, again, I want to give him a full cape that wraps all the way to the front, like a traditional comic book style Batman, instead of just focusing like on his cape. This is the one that would hook up to the shoulders and only rest towards the back. I want a cape that goes and wraps all the way to the front. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to probably drill a hole in his clavicle around here, right? So that I'm going to anchor the wire from that point, and then be able to just keep the wire held on from those points. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if I'm going to repaint the figure. I mean, he's got a lot of detail, but I've been thinking of either going, if I'm gonna make him like a future version. I was thinking of maybe making him a future version of maybe like the Tim Burton Batman, and just give him an entirely all black suit, and maybe highlight something here on the bat and the belt, of course. Give it a more. This gold color is a little too. It looks almost too. I don't know what the. It almost looks like a fake gold, if you want to say. So I don't know if I'm gonna repaint this either, because the Burton Batman, the color was a little more yellowish, right, instead of gold. The latest incarnations of Batman, you know, the Christian Bale Batman, his belt was a more gold colored, although it's a darker gold, right? So again, I'm just gonna think about what I'm gonna do while I try and do the cape for him, the wired cape. And same for this guy here. So of course the Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman, except with the head swapped from the Arkham Knight version, or whatever that is. So the original intent for this head sculpt, which was on this figure originally, way back when that first figure released, this is the head sculpt that I wanted to use for the year 2 Batman, because the head sculpt itself looks pretty much like what a McFarlane style Batman looks like, with those longer ears, but not too long, right? Not too crazy long. I would only have to repaint, of course, the mask, the cowl, right? Because if I was going for the year 2 version, I would have need to paint it in that blue, and then just white out the eyes, right? The eye portion. So I still don't know if I'm going to do that on that custom, since already that custom has a different head already, and I wouldn't know what to do with that different head. So I think I'm just gonna keep it as is, and use this that we have here, and just trying to make a traditional looking Batman from this. This guy had some straps here on the thighs. I already removed those, so I'm gonna fill this with epoxy putty, and smooth it out just to give it a seamless look. And then the idea is to remove these holsters, right, and these straps, and just give him a traditional looking utility belt, and repaint it, right, either a yellow or something else. And then as far as the bat symbol goes, the red portion here on the chest, again, I don't know if I'm going to either remove this physically and then cover up whatever gap is, because this is laid in there, right? So either I'm just gonna try and remove it or cover it up with paint, but I'm not gonna keep it red, right? I might even try expanding it into giving it a larger, maybe give it an oval shape, for an older style Batman. And so there's that. That's what I'm thinking of doing here. He also needs some gaps to be filled, from the cape, and here on the back. But this guy, the thing is, this guy has the cape that I really like, which is the one with the pointy shoulders. So on this guy, I don't know if I'm going to retain this portion of the cape, just cut off the rest off and keep the portion here from the top, and then add the cloth cape to it. Or the other idea that I had was in the same vein that as I did the cloth cowl portions, you know, the shoulder portion or the neck portion of the cowl on the one of the Batmans that I showed. I forget which one it was. I think it was, yeah, it was the McFarlane, the black and gray version that I spoke of. So I may try and do something similar, and maybe try and do the pointy shoulders on a cloth cape. See if I can mold the cloth into the points, and then keep the entire piece, you know, as one whole piece, right? One whole cloth cape and cowl version. And see how that goes. But of course, the first thing that came to my mind is just cut off cut off and keep the top portion for the pointy parts, and then just lay down the cape underneath. And again, regarding the anchor points, it will have to be down here up the front, right? But if I'm gonna use this, as I could maybe drill the anchor points into the plastic here up front, right? So those are options as well. Also, I don't know if I may cover up all of this little detail that's on the head here, on the mask, just to keep it more traditional, you know, smooth everything out. So so that's what I'm thinking about doing on this guy. And finally, let's at first, also just quick mention, like I said, this guy has a really huge neck, due to this head sculpt. But I think it actually looks good on this guy once I cover it up with the cloth cowl. It'll probably look better. And now for this guy, this Iron Man figure. I found this guy here at my house. I was looking for something else, and I came across a bag, and the bag had a bunch of toys that would belong to my nephew when he was, you know, just a kid. We used to keep a bunch of his toys for whenever he would come and visit. You know, instead of having my brother, you know, carry along his bag of toys, we would just keep some of his toys here for whenever they come and visit. You know, we would already have something of his so that he could come and play with. This is one of those figures that stayed here and I guess permanently stayed here, because, you know, this is over, well, you know, my nephew is over in his early 20s now, so this figure itself is from 1995. Probably the camera may not probably be able to pick it up, but this is a Toy Biz, a Mattel figure from 1995. My nephew was born in 99, so I don't know at what point did this figure come into his possession. But as you can see, it's a little beat up now. You know, a lot of scuffing on the paint, on the face, the arms. So what I'm thinking of doing with this guy is just a complete and total repaint, right? Clean it up, smooth it out, see if there are any imperfections that need to be covered up with putty, which doesn't seem like it has any. So we just need to it would just probably need a cleanup and some new repaint job. I'm thinking of just doing, since it's got a basic articulation. The hips are a little floppy, the knees are pretty solid, the arms are pretty solid, the elbows are solid. Just the hips that need some tightening, but I don't know how to tear this figure apart without maybe breaking anything, since this is pretty old. So I don't know what I'm gonna do as far as the hips go, but as far as overall on the figure, just I'm thinking metallic paint all around. Metallic red, some golds, some gold here for the hips. Since this is a more comic book traditional looking figure, not a lot of detail was on these guys back then. So it's gonna be a pretty simple job. So we'll see what else I can do. I don't know if I'm gonna give it like a black wash or not. Again, that's just depending on what I'm feeling at the moment that I'm working on the custom. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So again, it was just more of an update, thank you, appreciation video, more or less, to everyone that's checked out the channel over the past couple of months. Just a quick FYI, again, some of those videos, and there goes my dog. The early videos had a fancy schmancy intro. You really got me the intro, but my laptop, a few months ago, it started to crap out. I did a upgrade, a driver update, and for some reason that screwed it up completely, and I haven't been able to run some software. I was unable to restore it to a previous point, so I need to take that thing into repair. So that's why some of these last batch of videos, for the past months or so, don't have the intro, because I just can't fully edit, because once I start processing the video, it stops midway, and it just won't let me finish the video. So I just trying to do everything one shot, and that's it. So no intros. That's why those videos don't have any intros lately. So that's that. So again, thank you to everyone that has checked out my channel. I really appreciate it. Again, the point of this channel isn't really for me to it's more educational purposes. That's why these videos aren't monetized. So it's for me to just hopefully inspire others, right? So thank you for everyone for checking out the channel. I appreciate every one of you. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll check you all guys in the next one.